over our shoulder, then we're not going to do it. We're going to go back to the courts. And President Trump just made the point. You heard him. Why would they care unless they are committing fraud? So let me play you clips of them trying to get in, not being allowed. You're going to see Corey Lewandowski, and then I'm going to show you the news of what these people, these devilish, devious, skullduggery, called digging, treasonous traitors, rat bastards are up to in Pennsylvania, specifically Philly.
You guys had 8 attorneys, I think it was 8 attorneys at your appearance on this. I don't understand why 8 attorneys need to evaluate this order. I did it all by myself. It says that no later than 10:30 today, you're to follow the election code, and my people, my clients, representatives, are to be within 6 feet of the process.
We have read the order, and we are complying with the order, and we will discuss the issue.
Can you explain why you're complying?
What would the clients look like? I got a badge. I got a badge right here. I'm observing people, and this gentleman, he's running. He threw me out. America, don't stand for this.
That last gentleman, according
But this isn't happening just here. We have exactly the same lawsuit in Wisconsin, where exactly the same thing happened. Except in Wisconsin, mysteriously at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, about 120,000 ballots appeared. Oh, here come these ballots. Well, we have no idea if they really are ballots. We have no idea if they're signed, if they're postmarked properly, if it isn't just the same person who submitted 100,000 ballots, and they all got counted. This is the way they intend to win. Now I'm informed by former Congressman Sweeney, who's been going around the country collecting this information, that similar situation in Arizona, similar situation in Nevada, and a similar situation, what am I missing, John? Where are you? In Michigan, in Detroit, Michigan.
Those were all in the swing states that President Trump was doing well in, but the mainstream media was gaslighting and saying it was close. Isn't that just an interesting coinky-dink?
Again, let me be specific what it is. This whole new thing that never happened before in our country, these mail-in ballots, which has been a cause of real concern for everyone because they can easily be fraudulent. Well, one of the things that the law attaches to that is the right for both parties to observe the ballot, the way we do with absentee ballots. You make certain it's properly signed. On the outside, there's a signature. You make sure that it's properly postmarked. You make sure that it's properly addressed, and then you pass on it. A number of these are often challenged by the Democrat representative or the Republican representative. We never got a chance to look at a single one of them. The gentleman here who did this for us says about 100,000 ballots went through that process in the 20-plus hours in which they wasted his time by not allowing him to see a single ballot. Well, that's 120,000 ballots that should just be taken out of the count. So you want to look at that number, that 120,000 should come out. This is an area in which Biden is getting 60, 70% of the vote.
All right, now let's show you video evidence of shenanigans or alleged shenanigans or questionable activity. Suitcases and coolers rolled into Detroit voting center at 4 a.m., just like President Trump called it, brought into secure counting area. Let me just roll the tape.
Looks like one of those lock boxes. I wish I could tell.
All right, so what you're seeing here is footage taken by Kelly Sorrell, a Texas lawyer and a member of Lawyers for Trump. You can see a person in a white van was filmed loading up a red wagon outside the ballot counting location and bringing it inside. Laurel released a video to Texas Scorecard because she wanted to raise alarms that the box may have been a ballot box that arrived long after all ballots were expected to have been received at the counting facility. The website reports that other images appear to show suitcases and coolers moving in and out of the secure area where mail-in ballots were being counted during a shift change at 4 a.m. Wow, President Trump even called the time, right? The report continues on to say that, according to Sorrell,
And all the polling places were closed. And we have a box.
visitors were able to enter the facility where the votes are being counted without any identification check. The workers were apparently working in 6-hour shifts, meaning they did not have a need for overnight luggage. The Trump campaign has filed a lawsuit to stop the counting of ballots until the campaign is granted access to ensure there is no cheating.
I don't know if this is going on any other place, but it is going on in enough frequency in Wisconsin that we brought suit. And now we'll have to look into 3 other places. What it says to me is this is a concerted effort of the crooks that run the Democrat Party. And you know these big city machines are crooked. You know that. 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 100 years of one-party rule leads to corruption of all kinds. Voter fraud is one of the biggest because that's how you keep your power.
And they want to keep their power. Folks, there's so much news coming out. Pennsylvania right now, or what's going on right now, what's been going on since Election Day and over Election Day in Pennsylvania. Very scary stuff indeed. But of course, don't forget, we are all just theorists of this conspiratorial type when we worry about fraud on a wide scale manner to steal an election. Let me just play you this great little thing here by Michelle Malkin at Newsmax. Just listen to this little introduction. It's a few seconds. It'll set the stage for what I'm about to show you.
Over and over again, liberal journalists and academics tell us that cheating in American elections doesn't happen. Watch the election fraud deniers hard at work.
So it turns out there's almost no fraud at the polls. If you think about it, it'd be really hard to turn an election.
No fraud?
When people show up and vote twice. You need a lot of people to do that and get away with it. It just isn't really a problem.
Oh, I'm a believer democracy now. I mean, come on. They're trustworthy. They're not a Georgie Porgy or leftist or globalist linked. I'll take Democracy Now's word for it. Oh, how about Inequality Media? Oh, yeah, they have the truth about this, right?
Donald Trump and his enablers have been making claims of widespread voter fraud, alleging that millions of people are voting illegally in order to rig our elections. Baloney.
Baloney? Dead people have been voting for Democrats since 19th century Tammany Hall
Fact.
and 1960 Chicago.
Fact.
The avenues for corruption of our electoral system are endless.
They are endless. The avenues to corrupt our electoral system are endless. Let's look at some of those things happening right now, or in this election cycle, in this November 3rd election cycle in 2020. All right, so here we have a poll watcher who was prevented from entering the polling place. This is yesterday in Philly. We're looking at what's going on in Pennsylvania in this part of the segment.
You're not letting me in? No. That's why I tell you, call the police. Do it. If you're legal, call the cops.
They're not letting this poll watcher in.
I have a citywide watcher certificate.
It's not for this location.
It's not. It's not. This is the city of Philadelphia. 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 You wanted to talk. You wanted to talk outside. Let's talk. I have a watcher certificate. I asked you to read the line. The line said it's good in every ward and division in the city. You're not letting me in?
They didn't let him in, even though he had a certificate saying you're not allowed to do it here. But no, it's good for every single one in the city. This is the poll watcher certificate, Gary Feldman. It makes it clear that it allows the holder to watch any polling place in the city. This certificate authorizes an individual to watch in any ward division in Philadelphia. I mean, it says it right there on the damn certificate. Folks, I'm getting a little hot under the collar. You know me, I don't usually get like that. Or get like this. Certificate saying you're not allowed to do it here. But no, it's good for every single one in the city. This is the poll watcher certificate, Gary Feldman. It makes it clear that it allows the holder to watch any polling place in the city. This certificate authorizes an individual to watch in any ward division in Philadelphia. I mean, it says it right there on the damn certificate. Folks, I'm a little hot under the collar. You know me, I don't usually get like that or get like this. But this is deadly serious. Here we have a Philadelphia County Board of Elections watcher certificate. His job is to watch the polls, and he's being denied, saying that he can't be. These are poll workers who should be well trained in knowing what these little yellow certificates mean and how to handle. But of course, why would you want to do that? Because you don't want people to see you doing shenanigans like this. A new picture from the field, an official ballot box being taken away by an unidentified civilian. What's going on here? And of course, this is from the Philly GOP, and as you can see right here, Twitter doesn't want people to know about it. Some of all the content shown is tweeted, disputed, it might be misleading. And as you can see, you cannot share it. You cannot share this information. How about this one? Election workers are now claiming that the voter machines are down in Scranton. Okay, folks, some people are saying, look, like this guy right here, Irish 888. Happens, not everything is conspiracy. How the Hades, how the HE double hockey sticks, how the hell is it that Scranton of all places, where Biden, former Vice President Biden, has been many times, where he brags about being from Scranton, and I'm a scrappy Scranton guy, and I'm going to take the president behind the bleachers and show him a thing or two. Isn't it just completely fortuitous or serendipitous that of all the places in Pennsylvania, in Scranton, the voter machines go down? And listen to what option the people are given. They can wait around, or they can just fill out a ballot, and they'll scan it later for them. Just fill it out, and we'll take care of it later for you. If you're a Republican, this is what we will do with the vote, okay? So this is, if you're a Republican, we go, oh, look, it's a Republican vote. This is how we're going to take care of it for you.
To just wait around and wait for these machines to be fixed. So that's possibly what's going on right now. More to come.
Sheriff Deputy, what message did you get about this technician? My corporal told me that somebody was on the way to fix whatever was wrong with the...
Someone's on the way to fix the machine, but when? Yeah, when are they going to fix it?
I know it's a lot of people in the commission. I don't know where he's coming from. Did you check? Okay, thank you. Here's the deal. If you are in line right now and did not vote, if you are in line right now and did not vote, you have a choice.
What's the choice, sir?
You may continue to wait.
I can wait.
The machines are on jam. You can vote. Or you can leave and come back later on to vote later. Now, if that doesn't fit your schedule, whatever, then I strongly suggest you wait again. The third option is this.
Third option.
If the third option is this, I can have your attention. Third, I can have your attention. Third option is this. Find your name in the book. 9291. May I have your attention? 9192. Find your name in the book. Vote. Put the vote in the emergency slot of each machine, and it will be scanned once the machine is unjammed.
In here.
Now,
Or the third option is trust us to properly scan your vote once the machines are up. Heaven forbid that Joe Biden would lose Scranton, Pennsylvania to a huge Republican or a huge vote for Trump. So what better way, possibly, this is just a theory of mine, because I'm cuckoo, where is my tinfoil hat?
If I gave you $25,000 today, what would you do?
That Joe Biden would lose Scranton, Pennsylvania to a huge vote for Trump. So what better way, possibly, this is just a theory of mine, because I'm cuckoo, where is my tinfoil hat? Possibly, it would not look good optically if Joe Biden were to lose Scranton and win the rest of Pennsylvania and other places. So let's just say it wouldn't be harmful to Joe Biden for the machines to go down. Now, spotted in Ward 12, Division 4, Shrine of the Miraculous Medal. 2 people in the same voter booth. Who's in there? What are they doing? Are they a couple? Is there some electioneering going on, telling them how to vote, helping them vote for Joe Biden and the Democrats? I mean, we do have illegal campaigning inside of a polling station in Philly, where this man in blue is handing out Democrat literature to voters in line to vote. Totally illegal, totally against the law. This is why Dems are keeping Trump watchers out. They are stealing it. This needs to stop. Oh, but don't worry about it. According to Twitter, this is manipulated media. At least we can share this one. Oh, I have to find out more before I can quote the tweet. Retweeting that bad boy. See how the tech giants are trying to filter out information? So folks, polls have been open for 4 hours. This is yesterday from the Philly GOP. So far, we've heard reports of voters being turned away from the polls for wearing Trump gear. Okay, I understand that. I was turned away in 2016. Those of you who have been here, no, I took little man. And we tied his shoes up and we walked down. Little man was 18 months at the time, maybe not quite a year, and a little over a year. Took him down, made a video, took him down. We walked down to the polling place. It was about 4 or 5 blocks from our home. Made a little afternoon out of it, and I was turned away because I had something with Trump on it. So I went in the parking lot, turned my shirt inside out, went in and voted. Republicans, not Democrats, being denied provisional ballots. Non-operational scanners statewide. Voters separated into polling lines by party. It's supposed to be a secret vote, folks. And people are complaining. And I like this one from Larry. Stop tweeting and call the Trump campaign. If you observe any issues of the polls, please call the below hotline for your state. So I'm telling you this right now, folks, as a public service announcement. If you are in any of these states and you see shenanigans, call the number that corresponds. I'm going to put that on the screen for a moment. You can screenshot it. You can pause it. If you're in any of these states and saw any shenanigans, skullduggery, fraud, or any actions that aren't correct, don't just sit there and complain. Do something about it. And call one of these numbers. Thank you, Tulsa OU fan, Larry.
We're up 600. Think of this. We're up 690,000 votes in Pennsylvania. 690,000. These aren't even close. It's not like, oh, it's close. With 64% of the vote in, it's going to be almost impossible to catch. And we're coming into good Pennsylvania areas where they happen to like your president. So we'll probably expand that.
Not if the dirty Dems have their way. You're not going to expand that, President Trump. President Trump now addresses Michigan. Let me play you what he has to say, and then let me play you the shenanigans that are happening right now.
We're winning Michigan. I'll tell you, I looked at the numbers. I said, whoa. I said, wow, that's a lot. By almost 300,000 votes. And 65% of the vote is in.
Okay, so this is what we have now being reported. Gateway Pundit regarding Michigan. From Michigan poll watchers on the scene, Republicans allegedly witnessed suspicious vehicles dropping off ballots. Now let's see what has been the aftermath of that. As you see here, President Trump was winning comfortably, 51 to 46%. Oh my goodness, all of a sudden, there's this 200,000 swing vote, or, a significant, and Joe went from being under 2 million to over 2 million, almost catching President Trump. Last night, President Trump was leading significantly in several swing states, including Georgia, North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. President Trump had a significant lead in Michigan late last night. Then all of a sudden, Joe Biden jumped up 200,000 votes and has the lead over President Trump. And as they say here, 200,000 votes? This morning, a poll watcher in Detroit sent us this in the last hour. Now, this is from a source, an unnamed source for the Gateway Pundit. So I'm telling you who the source is. It's unnamed and where it's coming from. So I'm not saying it with a grain of salt, but I'm trying to be objective here. But listen to what this unnamed source said. Last night at TLC, formerly Cobo Hall, where absentee ballots for Wayne County, Detroit are being counted, a Ferrari, a van, and a Chrysler 300, I think, all pulled up into the facility, large garage doors, with ballots inside vehicles. All three of them had out-of-state plates. This is an anonymous tip. Also, they're counting military ballots now. I heard about 7,000. Every military ballot has to be duplicated, rewritten. I don't know why. This is very concerning. Yes, the part about the vehicles. They're saying Trump has no chance of winning here, and also John James does have a chance. I'll be in touch. Make sure you say allegedly. I got the intel from and a GOP challenger who was here all night. It should be accurate. Lawyer says someone took photos of Ferrari and Chrysler. No one took photos of or recorded info on van, like front license plate number. The van pulled in so you couldn't see their black back plate. Could have been a Michigan plate on back. We don't have front plates in Michigan, so it's possible they had a Michigan plate on back of van. More likely, they don't want anyone to record it. And as the Gateway Pundit said, let's hope the good old party, grand old party, the grandpa not giving any open opposition to the Democrat Party is examining the security cameras as we write this.
Hey, are you tired of not being able to trust what you hear and see in the media?
Reported this huge switch in favor of Joe Biden when President Trump was clearly leading him by a comfortable margin last night, or I should say early this morning, 3:15 a.m., when President Trump gave this talk, this speech that I'm now playing for you. Okay, then let's get into a big one. Let's go back to President Trump, and he's going to mention Wisconsin, and we're going to see very interesting, very similar shenanigans going on in Wisconsin that we see here in Michigan.
And we're winning Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, we're going to see, is very similar to Michigan. And of course, it should be that way, right? M-I, Michigan, you just turn that M upside down, and then you have W-I, Wisconsin. Same type of shenanigans we're going to see where Trump is winning, and then all of a sudden we see these spike in jumps in late counted votes, which I'm going to show you in a moment. Toward the end of this episode, President Trump said at 3 a.m. that, oh yeah, at 4 a.m. they're going to all of a sudden find votes. That's exactly what we saw happen in Michigan, as I showed you, and we're going to see the same thing happen in Wisconsin. But before I show you that, let me show you how President Trump knows that this is going on and wants to tweet about it, and again, Twitter is stopping him. So here is just 2 hours ago, Donald Trump, 2 hours ago from when I'm recording this. What is this all about? And the tweet that President Trump wants to tweet is being blocked, or is just a little notice from Twitter. Some or all the content in this tweet is disputed and might be misleading about an election or other civic process. So you click on it, and you have to click on it again. Learn about U.S. elections. See how it is hard to get to the actual message that President Trump is trying to share here. Matt Walsh. This is reason enough to go to court. No honest person can look at this and say it's normal and unconcerning. Oh, what is he referring to? Finally, we get there. And this is, of course, another tweet that can't be shared. And that's what I was showing you before, how the votes went from 199 up to 2130. I showed that to you before, but I wanted to show you how Twitter is really trying to silence the president and hide the truth and make it very tough for people to see what's really going on here. That was in Michigan. But let's now show you, oh yeah, this is their civic integrity policy, of course, passed in October 2020, and that's why you can't see this information. But let's look at what's happening in Wisconsin. This is really, really disconcerting. I mean, look at this graph for Wisconsin. Very similar to what happened in Michigan. I'll zoom in so you can see the part. So here, I already saved it here. This is what we have here. The state of Wisconsin, the total presidential votes for each party so far, with 89% of the Wisconsin expected vote, counted at 6:23 a.m. this morning, November 4th. Okay. We see here that at the middle of the morning, around 4 a.m., like I'm going to show you, President Trump said, all of a sudden they've got a whole bunch of votes, and that's a spike for Biden, where he's now leading, with Brown and Kenosha counties still counting. Folks, I'm showing you the truth that the election, they're trying to steal the election literally right before our eyes. Right before our eyes. Look at that. Look at this spike here. Michigan and Wisconsin, absolute fraud by the Democrat Party. All right, folks, got an update for you on Wisconsin. This is being edited. We just, Junior number 2, just about finished editing this video, but this is an update, so I want to put it in right here. The Trump campaign made a statement on Wisconsin. The president is well within the threshold to request a recount and will immediately do so. So we have this statement from the president and his staff that says, and I'll probably put this on the screen, despite ridiculous public polling used as a voter suppression tactic, Wisconsin has been a razor-thin race, as we always knew that it would be. There have been reports of irregularities in several Wisconsin counties, which raise serious doubts about the validity of the results. The president is well within the threshold to request a recount, and we will immediately do so. That's from Bill Stepien, Trump 2020 campaign manager. Now let's get back to the rest of the video.
We had such a big night. You just take a look at all of these states that we've won tonight, and then you take a look at the kind of margins that we've won it by. And all of a sudden, it's not like we're up 12 votes and we have 60% left. We won states, and all of a sudden, I said, what happened to the election? It's off. And we have all these announcers saying, what happened? And then they said, oh, because you know what happened? They knew they couldn't win. So they said, let's go to court. And did I predict this, Newt? Did I say this? I've been saying this from the day I heard they were going to send out tens of millions of ballots. I said exactly, because either they were going to win, or if they didn't win, they'll take us to court.
It's no secret. The Democrats already said they put their machine together. They've been suing. There's been countersuits back and forth. It's going to be lawfare for the rest of the year.
And all of a sudden, everything just stopped. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election. So our goal now is to ensure the integrity for the good of this nation. This is a very big moment. This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner. So we'll be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop. We don't want them to find any ballots at 4 o'clock in the morning and add them to the list. Okay?
This is the Patriot Power Generator, and when the
which Eric Trump had tweeted something. He shared a video about someone allegedly burning ballots that had Trump on them. And as you can see here, the person whose video, or whose account had the video that Eric Trump retweeted, got their account suspended. because Marxists are all about silencing you. If you haven't read the book, George Orwell's 1984, or if you haven't read it in the last 5 years, I would say, I invite you to read it again. I read it again last summer. Hadn't read it probably 10 years. It is a book that I try to read every once in a while because I do enjoy the book. I've had all my children read Animal Farm in their youth because that's a great book that they can learn, but also by George Orwell. If you don't want to do 1984, read Animal Farm. It's an easy read. Them and Steinbeck. I read Steinbeck and George Orwell every 5 years to stay fresh on it. So if you haven't read 1984, this is where we're living here, the Ministry of Truth. They're trying to ixnay and get rid of information. So what is this video? Well, I'm not going to show it to you because apparently on this platform I've learned that if you show anything burning or anything like that, it gets flagged for possible violence or whatever. Even though this video is of a bag, let me describe to you what it is. A man says, I've got 80 expletive Trump ballots here, and I'm going to burn them. He puts them in a bag, and he sets them afire, and he says, expletive Trump, expletive Trump, expletive Trump. Then invites others. If you are a postal office, a postal person, or you work in a sorting center, you got to do what you got to do. And then as he's burning that. So we don't know who this is, what state this is, where this comes from. But I'm showing you the title here. If you want to search for it on YouTube, you can watch it and listen to it for yourself. But this is concerning, all right? Oh, but there's nothing to see here, they keep telling us. And then when Eric Trump had retweeted this, someone had shared this information. A bunch of ballots seen discarded all over the country. Now, I've seen plenty of photos like this. We've seen them in ditches, we've seen them in other places. What is this all about? Oh, this is probably fake news, right? This is probably just staged. That is probably the narrative they want you to believe. But are these things being investigated? Probably not, because Christopher Wray is too busy worrying about supremacist and domestic threats to America, and those Ruskies, yeah, they're the real threat. By the way, our election officials have said that there is no danger, there has not been infiltration into our election system by the foreign forces, that it's secure. The enemy we have are internal domestic forces, not the supremacists that Chris Wray and his deep state ilk want you to believe, but the actual Marxists and people in government. All right, so this woman outside the counting facility in Wayne County, which is where Detroit, Michigan is, claims she discovered one box of ballots that contained 500 ballots from people who were not on the voter rolls. Once again, folks, nothing to see here. We're all theorists worrying about our election being stolen. Think about what I showed you yesterday and what I'm showing you today, yet nothing to see here. Everything's okay. Everything is beautiful in our almost close to be Marxist utopia. That is what the mainstream media wants you